Hello, creative souls. I want to start with something that might surprise you. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, despite his extraordinary genius, struggled with intense anxiety and financial stress that plagued him throughout his short life. Ludwig van Beethoven battled severe depression, especially as his hearing deteriorated. Franz Schubert faced periods of deep melancholy. These weren't weaknesses, they were part of their human experience. If you're a musician or artist listening to this and you felt overwhelmed, anxious, or struggled with your mental health, I want you to know something profound. You're in the company of legends. Today, we're going to explore why creative minds often face unique mental health challenges and, more importantly, how to navigate them while honoring your artistic gift. Let's talk about what I call the creative paradox. As musicians and artists, we possess what I consider a superpower, heightened emotional sensitivity. This same sensitivity that allows you to create music that moves people, that captures the subtle nuances of human emotion, also makes you more vulnerable to mental health struggles. Think about Robert Schumann, who created some of the most emotionally rich piano compositions in history. He also battled bipolar disorder so intensely that he voluntarily admitted himself to a mental asylum. Frédéric Chopin dealt with chronic depression alongside his physical ailments. Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky struggled with anxiety and what we would now recognize as depression throughout his career. These aren't isolated cases. Research shows that creative individuals are significantly more likely to experience mood disorders, anxiety, and other mental health challenges. But here's what's crucial to understand. Their struggles didn't diminish their genius. In many cases, they informed their greatest works. Why do artists and musicians face these challenges more frequently? Your brain is literally wired differently. Neuroimaging studies show that creative individuals have increased connectivity between different brain regions, particularly areas associated with emotion and cognition. This enhanced connectivity is your creative advantage, but it also means you process emotions more intensely. You might experience what I call emotional amplification, feeling joy more intensely, but also experiencing sadness, anxiety, or overwhelm more deeply. You're constantly absorbing and processing the world around you, filtering it through your emotional lens to create art. This is exhausting work even when it's fulfilling. Add to this the unique pressures of artistic life, irregular income, constant rejection, the vulnerability of sharing your deepest self through your art, and the pressure to constantly create something new and meaningful. It's no wonder that anxiety, depression, and burnout are common in our community. But recognizing this pattern is the first step toward managing it effectively. Now, let's talk about practical strategies that work specifically for creative minds. First, channel your emotions creatively. When Beethoven felt overwhelmed by his increasing deafness, he poured that anguish into his music. You can do the same. Keep a creative emotional outlet, whether it's improvisational sessions, emotional journaling, or creating feeling sketches in music. Don't judge these expressions, let them be raw and authentic. Second, develop mindfulness practices tailored for musicians. Try the composer's breath. Breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4, breathe out for 6. Do this while visualizing musical phrases flowing through your breath. Use the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique. Identify 5 things you can see, 4 you can touch, 3 you can hear, 2 you can smell, and 1 you can taste. As a musician, you're already trained to notice subtle auditory details. Use this skill for grounding. Third, structure your self-care like you would practice sessions. Schedule regular breaks during intense creative periods. Set practice boundaries. Even Mozart needed rest. Prioritize sleep because your brain consolidates creative insights during rest. Stay hydrated and move your body regularly. Physical tension directly impacts creative flow. One of the most damaging beliefs in artistic communities is that suffering is necessary for great art, or that your worth is tied to constant productivity. This is not only false, it's harmful. Let me be clear, your value as a person exists independently of your creative output. Beethoven's worth wasn't determined by how many symphonies he composed in a year. Your worth isn't determined by how many pieces you finish or how successful you are by external metrics. Practice what I call compassionate realism. Set achievable goals and celebrate small victories. Allow yourself to have days when creativity doesn't flow. This is part of the natural creative cycle, not a personal failure. Create boundaries around your creative time and your rest time. Both are essential. Remember that some of history's greatest composers had periods of creative drought. Rossini essentially stopped composing operas at age 37 and lived another 39 years. This wasn't failure. It was a human choice about how to live his life. Isolation is creativity's enemy and mental health's adversary. The stereotype of the tortured, solitary artist is not only outdated, it's dangerous. Seek out other musicians and artists who understand your journey. Join local composer groups, online communities, or collaborative projects. Share your struggles honestly with trusted peers. You'll often find that what you thought was your unique burden is actually a common experience. Consider finding a mentor who has navigated similar challenges successfully. Look for accountability partners who can help you maintain healthy creative habits. Remember that asking for help isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Professional support is also crucial. A therapist who understands creative minds can be invaluable. Don't wait until you're in crisis to seek help. Here's where we transform understanding into action. Your emotional depth, including your struggles, can become a source of authentic artistic power when approached mindfully. Bach composed some of his most profound works during periods of personal loss. Mahler channeled his existential struggles into symphonies that continue to move audiences today. Nina Simone transformed her experiences with depression and social injustice into music that changed the world. The key is conscious transformation rather than unconscious suffering. When you're experiencing difficult emotions, ask yourself, how can I honor this feeling through my art without being consumed by it? Create from your experience, not from your wounds. Practice what I call emotional alchemy, the conscious process of transforming difficult emotions into artistic gold. This doesn't mean romanticizing pain, but rather developing the skill to process and express challenging emotions through your creative work in a way that serves both your healing and your art. Before we close, I want you to remember this. Every composer and artist you admire has faced moments of doubt, struggle, and overwhelm. Mozart died young, partly from the stress of his circumstances, but he also created music that has brought joy to millions for centuries. Beethoven's struggles with deafness led to some of his most innovative compositions. Your struggles don't disqualify you from greatness. They're part of your human journey toward it. You have the same fundamental capacity for resilience, creativity, and emotional transformation as these masters. The difference is that you have access to better understanding of mental health and more tools for managing it. Your sensitivity is not a bug, it's a feature. Your emotional depth is not a weakness, it's your creative superpower. And your struggles are not evidence of inadequacy, they're proof of your humanity. The journey of the creative soul is both challenging and profoundly rewarding. You're not walking this path alone. You're part of a lineage of artists who have transformed their human experience into lasting beauty. I'd love to hear from you. How have you transformed personal struggles into creative strength? What tools have worked best for managing your mental health as an artist? Share your experiences in the comments below. If this resonated with you and you want to dive deeper into these topics, consider joining our community of creative professionals who support each other's mental health and artistic growth. Together, we can ensure that the next generation of artists not only creates beautiful music, but also lives fulfilling, mentally healthy lives. Remember, even Mozart struggled, and so can you, with grace, community, and the transformative power of your art.